And welcome back to another episode of Banditland Boulevard, first victory post-game podcast of this young season. One and done. Game one. O-N-E-W-O-N. Game one. They both sound the same, but they're both spelled different. The Bandits won the game. Tony, Bandits with a big 15-11 victory over the Georgia Swarm on banner-raising night, the third straight banner-raising night at the KeyBank Center. Great ceremony, great game overall. Got a little crazy there in the second half where we saw a goalie end up in the penalty box. I mean, it was hell on earth there in some parts of the game, and it was back and forth, especially in the first half. But the Bandits, like they usually do, find a way to win at home. The Bandits start off the season 1-0, and the quest for the four-peat is officially on.
One game in the books. We still have a long season to go, but that's the kind of statement you have to make against these teams, letting them know who the real top dog is, and that is our boys in the orange and black, the Buffalo Bandits.
That's right, and scoring 15 goals seemed out of the possibility, especially when you look at the key departures of the Bandits roster this year. No Chase Fraser, no Chris Cloutier, no Justin Martin, but this Bandits team always finds a way to score 15 goals on a pretty damn good goalie in Brett Dobson. I was very impressed with the offense, very impressed with the defense. Everything that was clicking for the Bandits. You got all the secondary scoring. You got your Dane Smith with his typical 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points on the night for him. Josh Byrne lighting up the lamp as well. And it was just a complete overall team victory. Teo Kananiko scoring a couple goals. Ian McKay getting a couple goals. Welcome back Mitch DeSnew getting the second goal of the game for the Bandits. 1 goal, 1 assist night for him. Ryan Benesh getting on the score sheet as well. 1 goal, 1 assist. Nick Weiss with 3 assists. I mean, this whole game was phenomenal. And this team, even without those guys like Fraser and Cloutier, this team has a ton of depth on it. You had to sit guys like Mike Triolo. He was a healthy scratch. You had to sit Thomas Whitty, who was also a healthy scratch, because you got so many great players on your roster. And, I mean, just a lot of the key contributors in this game. Ron John out of the transition was great. I thought Taylor Dooley on defense was phenomenal, filling in for Zach Belter. Lucas Nielsen getting an assist. It was a complete team victory, but I think one thing that we need to talk about first is the box score. The Bandits came out swinging on all cylinders, dude. 60 shots on goal against a great goalie like Brett Dobson. 60 shots, even in box lacrosse. I mean, Georgia's got a pretty solid defense. Georgia has a pretty lethal power play, pretty solid offense as well. Those guys know how to scoop up loose balls. I mean, 60 shots against any team is pretty impressive, but against this Georgia Swarm squad, I think you needed the 60 shots. Number one, that's impressive. Number two, to get 60 shots on a guy like Brett Dobson and a pretty stacked defense like Georgia's is pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, with the way how our offense, like you said, with our 2 missing pieces and people needing to step up, our secondary has never disappointed. And that's a good thing, that we have an all-around team and we have the depth that nobody thought, oh, God, now we lost our top 2 other guys in the secondary. There's no hope for the Buffalo Bandits at all. This is going to be their downfall. The dynasty is done, and we're going to see less and less scoring. You don't realize who the hell you're even talking about. You're talking about the Buffalo Bandits that finds the way to score at will, no matter who's on the floor. It could be Dane Smith, Josh Byrne, and now you got Ryan Benesh that can score multiple point goals. You got Kyle Buchanan that could do the same thing, but he was the playmaker dude of the day. Basically, Hoka Natiko's finding a rhythm again. He got a pair of goals last night, or should I say Saturday night, because since today is Monday. But the fact is that we still have that mentality of make a statement type feel. And that's what they brought to the table, to the Swarm. They came to play. And yes, at first, with the first half going 8-8, again, like you said, Trevor, that Georgia finds a way to keep pace with the Bandits. But then when it's that critical moment where the Bandits are going, You had your fun. Now it's our time to just blow away and just hit the gas pedal and just leave you in our dust. And that's exactly what they did. They played smartly, and that's what won them the game, 15-11.
Yeah, I mean, Georgia, it's been for a while now. Georgia plays their best lacrosse against the Bandits, similar to that of maybe the Firewolves. The Firewolves play very well against the Bandits as well. And the Bandits just need to they just need to figure them out, and that's exactly what they did. One of the key parts of this game that I really enjoyed, and I know 19,000 other fans in Banditland enjoyed this as well. How about Connor Farrell going absolutely feral in the face-off dot? 26 of 31 in the face-off circle. I mean, this was something that we struggled, or that he kind of struggled with in the past. The last year, he didn't have very great elite numbers in the face-off dot, maybe outside of a couple games where he looked really good. If you do the math here, 26 of 31, that is 84% of your face-offs. That's 84% of setting up your offense, getting key scoring chances. Connor Farrell did his job, and that is why he got his 2-year extension, because of games like that. Tehoka Nanticoke, like you mentioned earlier, couple goals for a guy that's getting a 3-year extension, a contract that Chase Fraser never saw in Buffalo. He damn well better score 2 goals a night and get those numbers and put them on the board. But Connor Farrell was a madman on Saturday night. 26 of 31, 84% in the faceoff dot, setting up his offense tremendously. Georgia can go down and score a goal, but that's okay because Connor Farrell is just going to win the faceoff and get the ball right back to his offense. That was awesome. There were some things that the Bandits have 17 more of these to go to clean up before they're, as they continue their quest for their four-peat. One that I saw, one little, it's not even really a real issue because Georgia struggled with this as well, and the Bandits really kept them at bay, was the power play. The power play last year was not great at all. The Bandits were 1 for 3 on the power play, including a 5-minute major that they didn't even score on. They were just waiting for the next whistle, and Tehoka Nanticoke put the ball right past Devlin Shanahan in the empty net. Got a little lucky bounce there as Shanahan kind of gave his old buddy Tehoka a little bit of a break, and then Tehoka kind of clapped in his face a little bit. But
surprising that wasn't a taunting penalty for that.
Oh, well, it depends on whatever. It really depends
if he said something or whatever. But
yeah, if he said something, if any words were exchanged. But I mean, I don't think you're going to call that ever. But yeah, Tehoka Nanticoke putting away the garbage. But yeah, 1 for 3 on the power play. Georgia was 1 for 5. I guess the penalty kill for both teams we could say was very, very good. But this was kind of something that the Bandits, it wasn't really their strong suit like it was in 2023. The power play in 23 was absolutely lethal. 24 and 25, not so much. The start of the 26 season, it's looking very similar to that of last year.
With also the key thing too is that like you said before in our preseason episode, that they cannot have anybody in the crease anymore, and that was a major adjustment that the defense had to do to that game. But they still found ways to block shots too, to keep Matt Vince at bay and to keep their opposing offense coming at them like that. Dawson finding a way to block shots, Priolo finding a way to block shots, Cam Wires stepping up and being that guy too, and also Mitch DeSnew. He's finding ways to block shots. I don't know what's going on with the way the mentality is going on, but I'll tell you what though, the front office of our team is smart as right now because of how good they adjust in a finger snap and the way how they just picked it up right off the gate. And that's, like I said, going back to what you said about the power play situation, yes, they got to stop passing multiple times and start taking the little necessary shots.
Start taking shots, man. That's all you got to do.
And on top of that, to get get the clock back into 30 seconds and refresh the clock for them to get more and more opportunities, they have got to limit their passes. I think it was a little bit too much for that series of that power play goal, or the power plays that they had for the major.
Well, I get it though. You want to be fast paced. You want to catch Brett Dobson or whoever the goalie is. Just kind of standing on their toes, maybe catch him napping a little bit, fast paced offense. But if the shot's there, sometimes you just got to wind up and take the shot.
Just
a lot of those are going to go in. I mean, the power play that the Bandits were running. You saw Benesh on one side, Buchanan on the other side, and Josh Byrne quarterback in the power play with his buddy Dane next to him, and then Ian McKay behind the net. That power play is lethal. And with something that goes hand in hand with the power play, I thought one of your keys to the game, Tony, going into it and during the preview episode was don't take dumb penalties. I thought the Bandits took dumb penalties in the first half. And in a game where
which one?
It was very, very close in that first half. Lucas Nielsen cannot get his elbow up there.
Yeah,
hit him right in the helmet. Cam Wires, he slashed him. That was a good call by the official there. Steve Priolo, which was originally called a 5-minute major, hit him right in the chest.
That hit was so clean though.
It was clean in the chest, but you gotta wait till he gets the ball. You gotta wait till he gets the ball. They're gonna call you for interference or illegal body check every single time, especially in today's game where you got cameras everywhere, you got refs everywhere, everybody's watching it. I mean, Steve Priolo just absolutely lays one into him. He doesn't even have the ball. I said, you know what, that would have been a great hit if you had the ball, but we can't be taking that penalty, especially against Georgia's power play. But the Bandits did an excellent job on the special teams to shut them down. Georgia went 1 for 5 on the power play
on the penalty kill.
That is great. If you're going to take 5 penalties against the Swarm, and you're going to shut down those lethal weapons like Lyle Thompson and Shane Jackson on that power play.
Yeah.
Kudos to you. Yeah. As the power play wasn't the best and taking the penalties in the first half wasn't great, you made up for it in the end with the goal scoring, with a shorthanded goal, with going 4 for 5 on the penalty kill. So in typical Bandit ways, they always find a way to win. And despite some things that they need to work on, hey, no big deal. They got 17 more of these games to go. And there are plenty more positives to go over than any sort of negative whatsoever. 15 goals on Brett Dobson. I think one of them was on Devlin Shanahan after the 5-minute major.
Tehoka
Nanticoke looked phenomenal, kind of like what you mentioned before. Josh Byrne with 4 assists. Dane Smith with 4 goals. Cam Wires causing 3 turnovers. Matt Vince looking like Matt Vince all over again. 42 shots, and Matt Vince made 31 saves. Connor Farrell scooping up 14 loose balls. So you got a lot of stuff going on here. And if you look at the box score, if you went to the game, your secondary guys showed out. It was a goal-scoring pie, and everybody got a slice of their own. If you go through the score here, Dane Smith kicking things off. Mitch DeSnew, Ryan Benesh, Steve Priolo, back to Dane Smith, Tehoka Nanticoke, Josh Byrne, Ian McKay, the NLL Finals MVP, Josh Byrne, Tehoka Nanticoke, Ian McKay again, Kyle Buchanan scoring in the fourth quarter, and Dylan Robinson putting in the empty net. The bottom line is your primary guys were primary guys, your secondary guys were secondary guys, but everyone was scoring, and you want to know why? Because Steve Dietrich, like we credit him multiple times on this show, created a team with tremendous depth. They are coached by John Tavares, who, they did kind of get behind the 8 ball. They were trailing 9-8 there in the third quarter. They're down 2-1 here and there. Those types of things happen in this game, but they never let it get to their heads. They never, no lead is insurmountable, especially against the Bandits. The Bandits were not going to let Georgia play spoiler during their banner raising night. And I think for Georgia, it was a lot of self-inflicted wounds, a lot of bad shots, a lot of shots that went wide, a lot of 30-second shot clock violations, giving the Bandits the ball again. A lot of great plays in the trenches there by the defense. Sure, they can't step in the crease anymore. You wouldn't have known it if you watched that game. The defensive scheme looked the exact same. They were playing house around the crease. They were in that diamond formation on the penalty kill around the crease. They just weren't in it. It looked exact same. They were just kind of more spread out. Steve Priolo was great. Taylor Dooley was phenomenal. Dylan Robinson was great. Cam Wires was great. That whole defense was phenomenal. But the one thing I did observe on both sides, snake bitten on offense. How many posts did Georgia and Buffalo hit that night? I wish there was a stat on the website, but because holy crap.
I could definitely recap on that. I'd have to say you got about like 8 8 posts for Georgia and about 7 for Buffalo. So it had to be close to like 15 to 20 post shots for both teams if combined. That's so gross, and that's how accurate these guys are.
I mean, if you look at Shane Jackson, he probably could have had a sock trick. He hit like
oh god, yeah.
I mean, that was nuts. Lyle Thompson hit a few posts on the power play in the second half.
Score though,
he hit a couple posts. And I thought the Bandits defense, credit them, they did a great job of shutting down Lyle Thompson. Matt Vince made some great saves on him as well. Couple good butterfly saves too, where he's on his side lifting up the pad, getting some big saves out of the butterfly position. That was awesome.
Can't forget Ron John either. Him and Desnu were like the dynamic duo in the defensive spot.
And getting loose balls too. Ron John, Connor Farrell, Ian McKay even was scooping up those loose balls, but they were looking great.
All around team effort.
I will say, if you do want to tremendously improve your loose ball numbers, we should give Mikey Triolo a start in the next game. I'm just putting that out there. That guy's a loose ball machine, and if you want to see the Bandits jump on more loose balls, I'd say throw him in the lineup. Just saying.
And he is number 29 this year. So
yeah, number 29 used to be Kenny Montour's old number. Now it's Mike Triolo's.
Used to be Carter McKenzie.
Carter McKenzie too. Yeah, that's a pretty good pull by you. I don't know. I mean, there was so much going on there, but I mentioned Snake Bitten. Ryan Benesh probably could have had 4 goals.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Lucas Nielsen probably could have had 2 or 3. They both hit
he ended up with one.
couple
crossbars. Or no, he only got an assist. Sorry.
Yeah, and I mean, it was just one of those weird nights. It was one of those weird nights where things were happening. It looked like at the start of the game was on pace to finishing like 22-20 because there were so many goals scored early on in that one. Then they kind of leveled off a little bit, 8-8 at halftime. That's how you knew the game was going to be close the whole way. But the way that third quarter went, and you saw Josh Byrne go air burn, doing that air gate goal behind the net to take the 10-9 lead back, you felt a momentum swing that, hey, this is probably going to be the Bandits game for the taking, because when you see Josh Byrne doing stuff like that, and when you see other goals like that happening in the second half, and you see Kyle Buchanan get on the score sheet, and you see Dane Smith and Ian McKay scoring in the second half, the vibes are there that the Bandits are likely going to take this, and Georgia really doesn't have any answers. And Tony, if we're going to talk about the second half, and I talked about, bat bleep crazy, hellfire of a game where everything was going on, physicality, goals. Have you ever seen a goaltender in the National Lacrosse League sit in the penalty box for 5 minutes?
It's been a long while, but I did look back in the record books, and there was one other goaltender in National Lacrosse League history that has served his own major penalty, and that's been a long time ago. I think that was back since 91 is when the last time that any goaltender has faced a 5-minute major himself. But yeah, that's the first time in a long time that I've actually seen that actually happen, and what a night to happen, especially how Dobson gave Ian McKay the stick to the face shot, and of course that's an automatic 5. You just can't do that, dude. You can check them, put your shoulder into them, fine. We'll accept it, but not the stick, dude. That's a no-no. That's going to cost your team. And I'm surprised that the Georgia Swarm's defense held us to no goals at all allowed in that major penalty.
Yeah, kudos to that. Kudos to their penalty kill, because they came out swinging. They were rallying for their goalie. That was a raucous crowd. Just watching Brett Dobson walk to the penalty box. That thing was.
Everybody was going nuts.
It was so loud, but yeah, he got his stick up right in the chops of Ian McKay. They're going to call that a 5 every single time, no matter how you slice it. I know Brett Dobson was kind of looking at the referee like, what was that? What was that? And I'm just like, you got to keep your stick down. If you want to set a pick, well, fine. You can set a pick. That's whatever, but can't lay the lumber into his chin. He's gonna call it every single time, but
every time.
That was crazy. The Bandits couldn't score on the 5-minute major, but at that point, they take a penalty like that. Tehoka Nanticoke scores a goal where, it's pretty much just luck of the ball dropping right in front of them to put it in. And then once that ball went in, I was thinking, yeah, the tide is kind of turned. This is the Bandits game to win. Looks like the Bandits are going to carry this one out, go 1-0. I mean, just overall, pretty solid game. I loved beforehand, watching the presentation of the 2025 banner going up and seeing Chase Fraser out there because they don't play until December 13th. So Chase Fraser was out there wearing his 2025.
You mean January 3rd?
No, they don't play their first game until December 13th.
Okay.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying. Never mind.
So Chase Fraser was in town. Chris Kluche was in town. Fraser was on the field. I think Kluche was on the field too during that 2025 banner
the only two that were sitting outside was Desnu and Benny. They were over at the bench because they weren't a part of that championship team.
Yep. Desnu and Benesh were over there. But you know what? Maybe they'll get their own soon enough. Maybe they'll get the 4-peat one. They'll be able to look at that because, man, that was great. The video package was great. I remember looking down, and I was like, there's somebody in a gray shirt down there and a 25 champs hat. I'm like, that looks a lot like Chase Fraser. And then the guy behind me was shouting, that's Chase Fraser. Like what is he doing here? And, that was cool to see. You can take Chase Fraser out of Buffalo, but you can't take the Buffalo out of Chase Fraser, and you can say the same exact thing for Chris Kluche. I can only imagine how hard it was for them to watch that banner go up while they're not in uniform. That was probably an interesting experience, but hey, they were living it up after the game. I saw him at Cobblestone. You saw him at Cobblestone. Chase Fraser's making drinks behind the bar. Chris Kluche's talking to Dane Smith, and he's talking to Dane's family and Kyle Buchanan and everybody else that was back there. It was homecoming. It was homecoming. Banner raising night is always special. It feels like an annual tradition at this point. And what is the best way to kick off, that annual tradition than by getting a big 15-11 home game against a team that plays their best lacrosse against us in the Georgia Swarm?
Yeah, it's an incredible feeling that, when you come back and you get to still celebrate with the team that you represented at the time. But now it is their time to be leaders for a different team. And like we said before, we wish you nothing but the best success in their new team and your new journey. And I told Chase this too, because it was really nice. He came up to, I don't know, it was before you even showed up to the bar. He came up to me, shook my hand, says, dude, I really respect the fact that how much love and honor you guys given it to us from the show and from the family of the Frasers. It almost made me tear. It didn't almost. It did make me tear up. It's like losing a brother, and it sucks. And you don't want to see Chase leave or Chris leave. And I got to shake his hand, and I got to give him my respects to him too as well. And I just told him, you go out there and you be yourselves. You go out there and you just do you. And I got a feeling they're gonna just do what they have learned from the Buffalo Bandits organization, and they're going to represent us well. So, guys, good luck to you both. We both are going to miss you. We both love you still. We know you're Bandits at heart. So, good luck out there, guys. That's all I can say.
Yep, and if you guys are sick of Vegas after the first year, just request a trade. You guys have Steve Dietrich's number. I'm sure they can make a trade happen. Sure. They can get you back in Buffalo. Who cares? Yeah, I don't care at all. because Vegas, who knows? Who knows where they're going to be? I mean, Dane Chase and Kluch are going to be the 1-2 punches there. If I can tell you this right now, Chase and Kluch are used to this winning thing, and if they're not getting it in Las Vegas, I'm sure they'll be like, man, I wonder what it'd be like playing in Buffalo right now. So just keep in mind that Steve Dietrich's number, he's just a phone call away. And if you guys ever feel homesick, I'm sure that he can make a trade happen because he is a wizard as a general manager. I'm sure he can do something. Probably not going to happen, but I'm just saying if there's any loyal Chase Fraser fans or any Chris Kluche fans out there, I'm just kind of trying to inflate your tires a little bit here. But yeah, great game, 15-11, 1-0 at home, 1-0 on the season. And they just look like the same old Bandits, dude. It looks like, and I do want to say win right off the rip. The NLL insiders just trying to go with their narratives again, trying to take down the big bad wolf. Well, here's the thing. When I see, and I see like either it's NLL fans or it's NLL insiders, NLL writers, when they say that the Toronto Rock are going to finish better than the Buffalo Bandits this year? When the Las
Not off
Vegas
to this
Desert
great
Dogs
start.
are going to finish better than the Bandits this year? Let me tell you something. You have tried to take down the Bandits how many years in a row? And all they do is prove you wrong? Listen, I know it's one game, but I got to stand on my soapbox here. You took away the defense rule in the new collective bargaining agreement. Bandits still won. You took Fraser from us. You took Kluche from us. Bandits still won the first game. Against a team that Brett Dobson usually plays his best lacrosse in, the Bandits scored what? 15 goals. How many did the Toronto Rock score on Black Friday? How many goals did the Toronto 7? And no, they did not win that game. They lost in Oshawa 8-7. Okay, so our predictions are already getting off to a great start. My point is, the more you talk negatively about the Bandits, the more you're going to find out. The more you're going to mess around, the more you're going to F around and talk bad about us and drag our name through the mud because you're jealous that a Canadian team or your favorite team hasn't won a championship in a few years because of the team that's right behind me, because of the 3 banners that are hanging up right behind me. The more you drag our name in the mud, the more the Bandits are going to win. So you know what? Keep dragging our name in the mud. Keep saying that this is the end. This is the end. There's a couple of Nighthawk guys that on X that I see, and they, as soon as the offseason stuff happened, they were clowning on the Bandits. They were like, oh, they just lost 2 superstars. They're done. Really? Really? At least wait until game 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of the season before you start making those inferences. But I'm just saying, Georgia Swarm are a pretty good team. They play the Bandits extremely well. The Bandits put 15 on them. Just putting that out there. They also have a bye week coming up before their next game against Halifax, another team that plays them very well. It's going to be a little bit of a homecoming for our boy Ryan Benesh when he faces against his former team that he played on a couple years ago. So here's the deal. Keep talking. We'll keep winning. 1-0, game one. Hey, if you want to take the Bandits down, take them down. Do it. Somebody's got to do it eventually, right? But
which team will?
I don't know who's going to do it. I don't know when it's going to be. But on this show, on me and Tony's show, Banditland Boulevard, it is, until proven otherwise, for Pete or bust.
That's right.
For Pete or bust.
Cannot wait.
What, outside of maybe losing a couple players, I mean, every team loses players, especially with the new hard salary cap.
Sure.
What is the reason behind the Bandits not doing this again? They still have most of their core. They still have the best goaltender in the game.
Yep.
What gives? Hey, game one already done. I got room for more. I got room for more on my wall.
We all got room for more.
You got room for more. And if I don't have room, I'll make room. I don't care. That's it. So we got a pretty good setup here because of the team that we cover, the boys that we follow. And I hated it during the time, Tony, but the fact that I could witness a third straight banner going up, and I've had my season tickets for 2 years now, and both years I've had them, they've won the championship. Or actually, 2 years. This is my third season with my season tickets. I heavily credit that, and the fact that we keep having these banner nights, to the 2022 finals. The year that the Bandits almost won. They blew the game in game 2, and they lost at home in game 3.
Yep.
That loss in 2022, the Mammoth did not know the beast that they awakened when they won that title in 2022. The Bandits made it a key staple that, hey, we don't ever want to feel this again. We're going to take revenge. We're going to smoke everybody in this league, and we're going to go on this dynastic run. And that is exactly what they did. The Colorado Mammoth. So big thanks to the Mammoth. Big thanks to the Mammoth because you awoken the beast. A flame that can't be extinguished as of right now. And you kickstarted a dynasty because that is what that is. These 3 banners behind me, that is a clear indication of a dynasty. And 3 straight titles in 3 straight years. Thank you to the Mammoth. Thank you to everybody that was doubting the Bandits too. All that did was add a little fuel to that fire, and that's why we got 23, 24, 25 right there, and a killer start to the 2026 season.
Yep, going 1-0 at home. That's the way you got to start it off. And we have another home game coming up December 13th against Halifax Thunderbirds. Matt Vince is obviously going to be our starting goaltender. And I got a feeling if we were going to talk earlier already about the pregame about that, I think Benny's going to have himself a night. And just watch out for 1-7. I got a good, strong feeling he's going to exploit their ways of what they were when he was a part of that team. But I got a good hunch he's going to score. Sock trick. I'm saying that early right now.
Well,
maybe?
as weird as it sounds, I think he's overdue after game 1 of the season. All those posts and crossbars that he hit in the game against Georgia, he probably could have had 4 or 5 against the Swarm easily. But yeah, he got snake bitten a little bit. It was just one of those games where the ball was just finding the post the entire time. Nielsen hit the post. Ron John hit the post. Priolo hit another post. I mean, this game could have been 21-16 Bandits. And it could have been one of the more high-scoring outings, but Matt Vince was great. The offense was great. And as cliche as it sounds, this game against the Georgia Swarm, it was a complete team victory on all sides of the ball. Transition and faceoffs. Phenomenal. Offense, 60 shots, 15 goals. Great. Defense, shutting down the superstar that is Lyle Thompson. You kind of, did you let Shane Jackson kind of go a little crazy? Sure. But you shut down the guy that you highlight on the roster in the locker room. That's number 4, Lyle Thompson. I almost didn't recognize him. Looks like he cut his hair too. Did you notice that? Lyle Thompson?
Yeah, he did.
He cut his hair.
A little bit, not too much.
I almost didn't recognize him out there, but it's hard to completely shut him down. The Bandits never completely shut him down. They did on Saturday night. So complete team victory. They're moving into the bye week. And I don't think there are a lot of games going on this week now that I mention it either. Week 2 is only Oshawa at Halifax and Calgary at Saskatchewan. There's a lot of teams going on the bye this week. So if there are any lingering injuries, I know Zach Belter missed the game because of a hamstring injury. I talked to him at Cobblestone, and this is some inside information, but I'm going to leak it anyway because I think the people want to know. He said, I will be ready to go next game. So expect Zach Belter to be in the lineup against the Halifax Thunderbirds, even though Taylor Dooley and that entire defense had a hell of a night, and I don't discredit anything that those guys did. Complete game in all 3 phases, and in front of 19,070. I mean, that's the way that you want it. Did it get a little chippy? Sure, but that's a typical Bandits and Swarm game. It was hard hitting. It was high scoring, fast pace, everything that you want and more in the first game of the Bandits season, and most importantly, a Bandits victory.
Huge. That's what you got to do is play with the statement. Take no team. Don't underestimate them. Don't think, because we only have a certain amount of players, they've got their stars, they got their weaker players. No. Every team you face, you have got to think this is game 7 of the season, of anything. This is it. If you got to play to prove yourself, this is what you have to show. 15 goals to start off is huge for the offense, I think. And, of course, with Matt Vince staying around that 9, 10, 11 goals allowed, that's his forte. That's the way he plays, especially with how the defensive core stayed the same except for a little add-on like a name called Mitch DeSnew. And boy, oh boy,
by the way.
What a I don't know. We got to go probably to a player of the game segment now of this, and I got to go with the guy that I'm about to talk about, and that is the man who surprised not only myself, but to the other box heads, and I'm sure to the other people in Banditland, and that is number 12, Mitch DeSnew. Played like the defensive player of the year from last year, and what a change in his game style, right, Trev? I mean, with the way how he went from when he was with the Bandits back in those years, and then going away, and then that mentality of I don't want to play for Buffalo ever anymore, but deep down in the back of his mind's going, man, I really do miss Buffalo. And sure enough, Dietrich did his magic. We got him for a couple of picks, and he's playing like he has never lost a step in his life. And this is unreal. Coming from a guy who you rarely see score. At the time, the last time I remember Mitch Desnew scoring a goal for the Buffalo Bandits was back when the New England Black Wolves, he scored that game winner
Yep.
in New England at the Mohegan Sun.
Yep.
I could not believe that's the last time I can remember Mitch Desnew scoring for Buffalo. I'm sure there was more, but that's the only time I remember. And that was back in what, the 2016 season, 2017?
17, 18. I know he was on the team. I know he was on the team during the 19 run, but I don't know if it was that late. I don't know.
Well, we'll have to go and research that, but that's the last time I remember.
Yeah. Oh, man. That was a
my
great
God. My guy is Mitch Desnew that game, and he's well deserved of that heavyweight title from the team itself.
Absolutely is one of the key players of the game from Saturday night. I mean, what was his nickname? Flat-footed Desnew. Remember that?
Yeah,
remember when that
that's
was his
right.
nickname?
He was flat-footed. This time he wasn't looking like that.
Dude, I mean, like you said, it was a little bit of an emotional roller coaster from his arrival to his departure and his arrival back. So
yes,
he joins the Bandits, pretty solid defensively. I thought he was great in some of the earlier years, and he was pretty solid during that 19 championship run. He leaves, and then the whole saga kind of begins where it's like, I don't want to play for Buffalo, whatever. Allegedly,
right,
of course, but then Desnew he gets his PhD, number one. He's Dr. Desnew. Not a lot of people know that. He got his PhD, played in Toronto, played in Philadelphia, and then we get the Twitter nukes coming in about how Mitch Desnew's agents telling NLL owners that he's going to play again in the NLL, but it's not going to be for Philadelphia. And then 10 minutes later, after that tweet came out, we see the tweet from the Bandits that says, trade alert, the Bandits send a 2026 conditional first and a 28 conditional second for Mitch Desnew. And we're like, Snoozer's back. And at that rate, I knew it was going to be a great trade because I know he's close with Dane Smith. I know he's close to a lot of the core guys that are still there. He was on the same team with Ryan Benesh back in the day. So he was pretty fired up. Benesh was pretty fired up that he was coming back too. So that was big. Especially due to the fact that Belter was dealing with an injury. Mitch Desnew scoring the second goal of the season for the Bandits. And, I mean, he was laying people out, Tony. He was scooping up a bunch of loose balls. He put somebody in the spin cycle in the second half. I don't know if you saw that spin dodge.
Yes, sir.
That was amazing. That set up the Josh Byrne goal. That was phenomenal. He jukes a guy out of his jock strap and throws it up the floor, and then Josh Byrne gets a goal, and Desnew gets the primary assist. So he had a phenomenal night. My player of the game, dude, it's tough, but I'm gonna go basic. I have to go basic. The guy that puts up the freaking points, the guy that puts up the numbers, your stereotypical 4-goal, 4-assist night. Give me number 92. The great Dane Smith. I thought he was the player of the game, scoring the first goal of this young season and making a statement right away, quarterbacking the power play with Josh Byrne, calm, cool, and collected. He rolls out of bed and gets 8 points a night. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he continues to do this, but he is going to eventually, and I truly, firmly believe this, he's going to pass all of John Tavares' numbers.
That's huge.
I think in Bandits history when the day goes on, because Dane Smith is a go-getter. Dane Smith is a point getter, and it's nothing against Johnny T. Johnny T is the greatest indoor lacrosse player at all time, and he played in a generation where you can get away with a whole lot more without things being called a penalty. I thought things were a lot more physical back in the day when Johnny played. But Dane Smith looks like the modern-day Gretzky, the modern-day McDavid in lacrosse form, where he just rolls out of bed and gets points, goals, assists, apples, great passes, bounce shots that always find the back of the net. He beats the best goalies. He beats Brett Dobson all the time. He beats all the great goalies in the National Lacrosse League, and he is a guy that is going to be a Bandit for life, and I cannot wait to see him continue his wrath on the rest of the National Lacrosse League.
You want to talk about one of the point goal getters for the Bandits? How about the point goal getters in the National Lacrosse League itself? I
Yep.
mean, even though you got your names like Jeff Teat, Joe Rezateritz, that still could light the lamp, but you also got
Always.
your teammate Josh Byrne. But Dane Smith,
Triple digit in points every year. Every
year. And that's what's scary. And Johnny Tavares knows that it might be his time to say, well, I've had my fair share at the top of the mountain. Who better yet than another Buffalo Bandit to come in and take the reins? And Dane Smith's got that mentality that he wants to be the all-time great scoring leader. But again, he's got to still work his way to get there. And he's on the right track to do so. If you do 8 points per game times by 9, that's 72 points right there. But I'm sure enough that if he gets 10 or 12 points a game with either 2-goal, 8-assist night, like he always usually does, that we've seen him in last year's, but great first start. Awesome pick. I couldn't say anything better about that. So good job.
We got our honorable mentions. I thought anybody that scored a goal, everybody contributed. I mean, whether it was offense, defense, transition, a lot of players, a lot of different positions scored goals. Matt
Ron John playing outstanding, loose balls too as well, contributing to the defense. Connor Farrell almost perfect.
Player of the game, almost perfect. That was phenomenal. Something that we haven't seen in quite a long time from Connor Farrell. Great night in Banditland. You had to get off to a 1-0 start. I feel like a game like that answered a lot of questions about the future of this team. People were wondering, what would this team look like without Cloutier and Fraser permanently? You know,
I think we're just fine.
I think scoring 15 goals against Brett Dobson and the Georgia Swarm, who have the potential to be a very good team in this league. I think that answered a lot of questions. The season's still young, though, but it feels routine at this point, Tony. The Bandits seem to win the first game of the season. They seem to get off to very hot starts, get ahead of the 8 ball. This is what the Bandits need to do if they want to be that first ever team to four-peat.
That's right. And the way that their mentality and their game style is, I don't see nothing stopping them to get to that 4th straight title. And you know what? Like I said, if you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. And the Buffalo Bandits are the man.
That's right. And if you guys weren't at the game, you guys could always buy tickets to another home game, or maybe you can buy season tickets. This was available in the Sabre store, and I had to get my hands on this as well.
Nice.
Have you guys ever seen foam fingers before?
Oh my God, not one, but 3.
Have you ever seen these? It's 3 fingers. I think you can, well, it's 1 for each banner behind me, 23, 24, and 25. And then on the bottom, it says back to back to back. That's what's up. Oh my God.
That's
sick. What's up. So you're going to see Go's face in section 106 standing next to Jigsaw.
Which I saw you guys on the screen.
You were on the screen. I was rocking my Bandits sweatshirt because you got to respect the ones that do the work on the side as well. The Buffalo Bandits, amazing, as always, especially in the face-off dot. They best cheerleaders in the game. I mean, I went to Albany. That was pathetic. I went to Rochester. I don't even know if they have any cheerleaders anymore. The Bandits are elite, so I'm sure you saw me in 106 rocking them. The Bandits rule, you drool. It's all good. But you've never seen 3 foam fingers before, all combined into one. So
that's cool.
That one. I had to get this off the shelf before they were sold out at the Sabre store. But I'm going to be wearing that December 13th because that's the next game the Bandits play. They're on a bye week this week, and the Halifax Thunderbirds coming to town December 13th.
Yep, next home game, and we got to prove a point to a team that also is like a thorn in our side. But again, you got a great team, you got a great coach, you got the right attitude and the right staff. So you go in there full head of steam, and you just don't look back. That's all I got to say about that.
Johnny T versus Michael Accursi. That's coming up in 2 weeks. Should be great. I think it's holiday theme in Banditland. I could be wrong, but I thought I read that somewhere. Who knows? Okay. If you have a Santa suit, you might want to wear it to Banditland that night because I think that's
there you go.
12 days before. Yeah, 12 days before Christmas is the last. That's going to be the next home game, but it's going to be good. 1-0. This is right where we need to be during our bye week. I'm going to see if we can get either an alumni or a guest on this show. We're not going to have a preview episode for you this week as we are on the bye. A lot of teams are. I think only 4 teams are playing this upcoming weekend. So we'll see what we can cook up here for you guys on Banditland Boulevard. But, Tony, I think right now it is time to shout out our wonderful sponsors.
And I think also what we're going to try to do too, Trevor, is actually be on location to one of our sponsors as well, which would be sick. So if you guys want to come out, to one of the sponsors, of which I'm about to announce, please hit us up on a message on either on our Facebook or our Instagram, you name it, we'll respond real quick. So if you guys want to meet us up and you guys want to be a part of the show, we've told you all before, again, you're more than welcome to be. I've reached out to a couple guys at the Cobblestone that is actually going, really? You're going to take fans on board? Yeah. Why do you think we want to grow? We want to make this podcast the best podcast about Buffalo Bandits lacrosse. And it's all on you guys, too. You help the Buffalo Bandits by supporting them and helping them win championships with just cheering them on. We're just asking for the same thing for our podcast. You guys come out and you help us out. With that being said, Banditland Boulevard is brought to you in part by Mitchell's Tavern, located at 734 Sheridan Drive up in Tonawanda, New York. Guys, if you want to check out the best beef and wick in town, Banditland Boulevard is telling you to go check it out. Trevor Hauer over there, Tony LaMonica, myself, is saying go check out their food, their amazing service. They will treat you like family. Also, we'd like to thank those at Beer Kind Brewery, located at 2765 Kenmore Avenue in Tonawanda, as well as the Kenton area. As you may say, they got all different types of crafts, drafts, and beers that you guys want to try a sample of. Go up there and give it a shot, and I guarantee you, every single beer tastes so sweet. Other than that, we also got Herney's Journeys. If you guys want to book your next big adventure, please contact Suzanne Pike at SuzannePike@Herney'sJourneys.com. Let her book your next big adventure. Also, we'd like to thank Nino's Pizzeria, located at 1737 Orchard Park Road and at 315 Buffalo Street in Hamburg. If you guys want to check out and have tailgating food for your sole purposes, to have pizza, wings, fries, subs, you name it, call and order up. They'll give you 100% guarantee the best food in town. Also, we'd like to thank those who are watching us here live on StreamYard through YouTube. You get to see our faces. You get to hear about all about Buffalo Bandits across. We want you to like, subscribe to our channel every time. Hit that notification bell every time we talk about Buffalo Bandits lacrosse. And for those listening in on every device known to man, like what I'm doing right now is on my tablet. He's on his computer. Right. You got our phone. You got the radio on Spotify. Give us that 5-star rating, guys, that we talk all good things about the Buffalo Bandits lacrosse team.
That's right. You couldn't have said it any better. Bandits are 1-0.
That was a mouthful.
Undefeated. You ain't kidding. 1-0 on the season. Game 1. What
Still
else do you want me to say? Georgia Swarm, they were extinguished. They were exterminated. The Swarm were exterminated. Get them out of here. They were swatted. You know what? I think next game. So we're going to tease this on our preview in a couple weeks, but we might need to do some bird hunting in earlier December, because we got some Halifax Thunderbirds that we're going to try to take down here in a couple weeks. Yep. Put them in the ground. Let's try to go 2-0 on the year. Take it a game at a time. The 4P West is officially on, and it's kick-started with a 1-0 record to start off the year. Tony and I got 3 more words to end this very good podcast. And Tony, what are those 3 words?
In 3, 2, 1. Let's go Bandits.
Let's go.
1-0. We're the champs for a reason, boys and girls. And for those teams that are looking at us going, hey, we want to be the best. If you want some, come get some. We have the title. We have the trophy. If you guys want to take it from us, you got to have to kill us.
If you want it,
the best of the game,
come and get it. Come and get it. Go Bandits.
Go Bandits.